Welcome to the first episode of the TK Boxing Podcast. The reason it's called that is because I am joined with none other than Mr. TK himself. He's let me get this right, a former Greek national boxer, now a boxing coach at various gyms around LA, including where we first met several years ago, which is just down the road here at Mad City, and founder of the TK Boxing Equipment line. You can see in front of us, there's some nice pair of gloves and a couple of hats. And just in case you're not sure, he's wearing a hat with his initials on it. Mr. Tolis, how do I pronounce your name again?
My last name is Keivani.
Tolis
Keivani.
Keivani.
Yeah.
I've known you
I don't think you ever asked me again.
Yeah, I've known you for so many years.
Yeah.
And
if I ask you tomorrow, would you remember my last name?
No, I just call you TK.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm very excited. We have been talking about doing this podcast for actually, no, I will lie if I say that. We just decided to do that 3 weeks ago. In my mind, I wanted to do that for a long time ago, but I realized that we have a good connection when we talk about boxing. And I remember, do you remember that was like 3 or 4 weeks ago? And they said, hey, no, that was a month ago. And I asked you, hey, we should do a podcast, because I'm always connected with people that they are really into boxing, and I can say that every time that I start a conversation with somebody that understands boxing and knows boxing, I can talk for hours, and definitely you are one of those guys that I can talk for hours, and we decided to do that, and I'm so excited to be here because it's not something that we do it just because we have nothing better to do, but we do the podcast because we talk about boxing anyways, 24/7, and we just have the mics in front of us, so nothing really changed.
Well, I'm actually just doing it so I can get some free hats and some free gloves from you. So
you got already, no?
That's my incentive.
Okay, I can give you a mini boxing glove. What about that?
A mini one to dangle. You know what? I actually had a pair of boxing gloves in my car and they got stolen by a homeless person. So I actually do need a pair.
You did, really?
Yeah, I left my door
LA
open.
gets crazy, man. But I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to talk about not only about the boxing updates, but talk about boxing in general, about like the like inside of the boxing, because I feel like that's what is missing more, like talking about things that's happening inside in the boxing, in the fighters, in the trainers, in the whole industry.
People are probably wondering why you chose me. Yes, we know each other, but in my opinion, so I swore I'd never do a podcast unless it was about boxing, and here I am. But I'm probably one of those co-hosts that every podcast has, where I'm the person that no one's ever heard of, no one knows why they're here, but they're there and they just want to find out more about the topic that they're talking about.
Well, you are here because you love boxing, and you don't have to be any pro fighter, you don't have to be any pro trainer in any industry in order to be in a podcast, because you understand boxing, you read about boxing, you get updated about boxing, and that's why we are here, because we want real opinions of of fans. It's not about like whatever I will say or whatever you say is right or wrong. It's our opinion and we express it.
With the growth of social boxing, let's call it, not amateur, you've got social boxing with these gyms popping up all over LA and all over the world, in regards to kind of boxing fitness. I think there's space to kind of connect those social boxers to professional boxing.
We will have a lot of guests coming in every single podcast, and we will make sure that the guests that we will bring, they will bring a lot of value, and I'm very excited because I want to learn from them too. It's not only like, we're not here because we know everything. Obviously we don't. So the guests that we'll have, we'll try to bring ex-fighters, former fighters, trainers, elite, but we will try to bring elite people that they understand the game, and we want to see their perspective. Now, doesn't mean that it's right or wrong, but we all have our own opinion, and we have a good boxing conversation.
So it's not just going to be me and you talking every week.
Thank God, no, because I don't think that anybody. First of all, I hope so far they understand my accent. You are a little bit better, but
I'll translate if we need to. I'll translate.
Yeah, and then we need it. Maybe we can put the subtitles for me.
You can type out the subtitles. That'll take you about a month. We'll get there in the end. I actually just want to start with one question. I think this is the most important question. How is my boxing, Tolis?
Your boxing actually is very legit for somebody that doesn't compete. Because again, you have nothing to prove. You don't try to fight. You don't try to compete, and you still try to get better. And that's the main key in any sport that you do. Because I see your form is really good, but I can tell that you had good coaches in the past.
Yeah, so I've been at Mad City, and like obviously we met. You coached me quite a few times, and still do. I try and avoid you from time to time, though, because you do get a little bit
You
aggressive.
were trying to avoid me?
Yeah.
So you mean that now you don't avoid me?
Well, no. Yeah, well, good point. But every time I train with you, you kind of up the level of physicality, which is a good thing, but it also kind of scares the shit out of people, because that's essentially that line that people will have to cross eventually.
I just love the fighting game, and I love the fighting game, and sometimes I love it more than I should. Sometimes I just like the pure violence, like, and I know it's not, it doesn't sound good, but I love it. Now I have been better over the years, like when I'm coaching or when I see other people train, and I want to make sure that there is a certain level of fighting and violence, but it's safe. Right. I'm sorry I interrupt you again.
No, it's just about pushing people from just doing basic boxing drills for cardio's sake to actually doing like some physical contact.
Yeah. At the end of the day, in my perspective, like if you are in a boxing gym, you need to learn how to box, right? Because I have seen people training, doesn't matter with who or how, but you are in a boxing gym for 5 years, maybe for 10 years, and you have no idea what are you doing, and it's not good. Because yes, I understand you sweat, you get that release, it's good, yes, I'm all about that, but at least you know how to, it's good if you know how to throw some punches, and at the end of the day you need to learn how to defend yourself. Because a lot of people that they train in gyms that they don't really teach proper technique, if something happen like outside, it's like they never boxed in their lives, and that's not, like, you need to get a level of confidence that you box, but at the same time you can defend yourself if something happen.
Yeah, because I think that was my experience. I've boxed kind of on and off for 10 years, but I was actually in South Africa at the time. Really, really good coaches there, but it was always one-on-one, and after a while that kind of gets kind of easy. You're just on the mitts and you're basically doing the same thing. When I came to Mad City and met you, I started to progress.
Life change.
Life changing. Look at us now.
You're not the first one.
But I think you were probably the one that hit me for the first time back. And I think that's
hit you like thing. For real, or hit you with what I was saying?
Well,
or both.
hit me with your good looks. But it's about getting used to actually taking a punch back, because anyone can hit a bag.
Okay, I see.
So building that confidence of actually feeling what it's like to receive a punch, and getting used to it, because we don't go hell for leather, we don't go full contact, but the more you do contact, the better it is.
Yeah, well, if you think about that. Unless if, I don't know, somebody punch you really hard, nothing really is going to happen. You might get punched a little bit, the pain is going to be a couple of seconds, and then you're good to go. I remember one of my first clients, he wanted to spar, and I said, okay, we'll spar. So we spar, and the first punch, but he was scared. He was very scared. So I remember I punched him, and at some point, he stopped and he looked at me. I'm like, what, bro? You good? Like, what? He's like, oh, actually, I'm good. I'm like, I know, just fucking go. Like, that's how it's gonna go. Like, nothing. I'm not gonna kill you. Like, and since then, like, it's this guy that he was like so scared to be in the boxing gym and spar, and he didn't even thought that he would belong in the boxing gym. Now he's one of my best guys that I can throw him and spar with anybody. And I'm very happy, because that doesn't only help you in a boxing gym, but helps you in your confidence in anything that you do.
Right, and it pushes your fitness as well, because I know doing a couple of rounds of even just light sparring is night and day compared to an actual just doing a cardio class.
Of course.
Just that nervous energy that you feel,
of course,
with someone throwing back.
And sometimes it's not only because you can train for an hour, no problem. You can spar for 3 rounds from 3 minutes, and you feel like you will be trained for 2 days straight. Because I feel like most of the people is because they are so nervous and they are so stressed out that you getting tired by yourself without even doing anything.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of times, like the mental part more than the physical part.
I think what I'm interested to hear is about TK. And that.
What do you know about TK? What do you know about TK?
That's why we're here, right?
No,
TK
we're not
boxing.
here, but we are here because we love the sport. But at the same time, yes, we are TK boxing, and
You want to sell some gloves?
What is that?
You want to sell some gloves as well?
We sell gloves anyway. We are doing
All right.
we are doing good. We just want to we love boxing, and at the same time, I prefer selling hats. It's more easy because with the gloves, so many details. With the hats, you just give the hat.
But no, like honestly, why did you want to start a boxing line in the first place?
Good question, and I don't think that I ever spoke about that in public. Obviously my friends know, but so anyways, when I came from Greece, I was 27 years old, and I had some issues by that time, so I had to take a decision. To stop fighting. Basically, I had to take a decision and stop fight when I was 27 years old. Which that kind of like, because my goal when I was trying to fight, it wasn't to be a world champion. I just wanted to compete in USA. That was my main purpose. I wanted to compete in USA. And by that time, at the same time, I was broke. I had no money, so I had to decide. Okay, you are 27. You're not going to be a world champion because I wasn't a top guy. I was competing. I was strong. Yes, all of this stuff. But you have to understand there are levels. So I knew that I'm not going to be a world champion. So I said, all right, bro, what you gonna do? Do you want to still try to compete and just make some money? Who knows when, or you want to stop competing and take a different path, still in the sport that I love. Okay, so that's what happened. I took the decision to stop fighting when I was 27, and I will start training people by that time. And at the same time, I was trying to find. I will be very honest with that. It's not about I was trying to make better gloves or whatever. I was just trying to find another way to make more income, because I was thinking, okay, I want to go in Greece, but how I'm supposed to pay my bills, So let me say that's very interesting. Meanwhile, I used to work in restaurants part-time, and when COVID started, 2020, I had very, 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 very few money by the time. And what happened though, COVID started and we will start getting unemployment from the government. So with this money, I decided instead of start being fancy and buying like fancy cars and fancy clothes and all of this stuff, I decided to build my brand. And with the unemployment money, I built the TK Boxing. And besides of, as I said before, that I want to make a extra way of income, at the same time I want to make sure that I am in boxing 100%, even coaching, even supporting with gloves, promoting like being having my own brand in the boxing. But my main point was I want to be in boxing 100%. And the thing is that because I was so passionate about fighting, I said the same passion that I have in competing in boxing, I will put it on my brand, and I will create the best future boxing brand in the world. And as you know, we are almost there.
So how did
that
you...
was too much. I was talking for
No,
like
it's
20
perfect.
minutes.
It's perfect. I found out what you used your government money for. It's perfect. Mine went.
Yeah, so COVID for me wasn't that bad. I'm
mine
sorry,
went to
people.
alcohol and other stuff. But no, yeah, well done.
Actually, I
well
got in
done.
the best shape of my life through COVID, because I had so much time. Like everybody had so much time, right? So, well, I don't want to say that people didn't use it wisely, but I guess I was lucky, So I used the free time that I had wisely. So I learned a lot about my business. At the same time, I was training a lot. Anyways, I have a good skill to interrupt people
That's right.
for no reason.
It's an inspirational story. I like it.
But I had no idea about business. I had no idea about any business model or how to start the business. The only thing that I knew is that, you know what? You want to do that, just do it. I'm not wasting too much time. I'm not overthinking. I'm not analyzing things. I said, you want to do it? I said, do you know what I said? I don't know if I ever told you that. By the time that I decided to start TK Boxing, I said, I'm sorry to the other brands, but we coming. That's what I said. And we started.
Well, it's interesting because, like you mentioned, other brands, and it's so rare for a new brand to come along, to be honest. Like, I remember, I don't think you were happy with me. Maybe it was just in my head, but you obviously have your TK gloves at the gym. But for me, when I was buying my gloves, and I have like a couple of different pairs, all I wanted to do was like buy a pair of Rival gloves because I just loved Rival. Like Anthony Joshua wore them. So I felt bad not buying TK. TK are going to be my next gloves that I'll buy. Well, I actually get them for free now. But for me, it was
you might pay double now, but I know the story.
All right, I'll stick to my Rivals. But yeah, like.
By the way, let me interrupt you. I am really looking up, that's a good thing to say, looking up to Rival because the owner of Rival, Rusamber, he has a similar story like me. He's no similar story like in everything, but he's still a trainer. I think he's in a USEC team, and the reason that he started the brand is because he wants to improve the gloves. He's in the industry, and I'm really connected with him because I feel like he has done a great work. Because, you know, all of these years there are brands like Everlast, like Winning, that they have been around for years, but the reality is that you see that they don't really improve. They have good gloves, but they don't improve. So Rival came and they changed the game. They bring a lot of new things in the industry, and now TK comes and will bring even more.
Right. And well, that's the thing. It's like gloves are so iconic, related to which fighter is using them. Like Rival came up, you know, Lomachenko, and as you said, Usyk and what have you. Before that, for me, like Grant with Floyd Mayweather was just iconic.
Do you know what gloves Floyd used to wear? I'm trying to remember. I think
Grant.
No, before Grant, and because he used to wear if I'm not wrong, I think he used to wear Winning. He used to fight with Winning. But do you know about Floyd's hands?
No.
Floyd Mayweather, if I'm not wrong, but I think I'm right in that. He used to break his hands in every single fight. So what happened is he went to Grant and he said, hey, I want you to customize a glove especially for my hands, because he had very sensitive, do you know the story?
Okay. No,
very sensitive hands. So then they create a glove just for Floyd. Now I don't know if they kept this pattern for every single fighter since then, but the story is that Floyd, he used to break his hands every after fight. I mean, I don't know if that's, maybe that might sound a little bit weird, but I don't know if that's one of the reasons that he's a defensive fighter. He wasn't.
Possibly. I mean, he didn't, well, I say that. Did he knock a lot of people out, Mayweather?
He wasn't famous as a knockout artist. I mean, besides of your guy, what's his name?
Ricky Hatton.
He's my favorite, man. I love Ricky Hatton, by the way.
That's where I fell in love with boxing. Like, I remember when I was younger, like listening on the radio back in England to like the Tyson Frank Bruno fights. That's my first memory. Again, Bruno being battered by an American. But then when Ricky Hatton came up, I followed him, and then obviously watched him lose to Mayweather and then get knocked out by Pacquiao. But
what a legend, man! What a legend!
Just being entered into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Ricky Hatton this year.
What a legend.
But yeah, he's the one, like those trips to Vegas with, 20,000 fans and those behind the scenes documentaries HBO used to do.
Have you read his story? Have you listened to his story?
Yeah,
how depressed he got after those two fights. But you know what? It's crazy because you are the hugest name, and all of a sudden you have, it's exactly what, you listen that very often. Like he lost from Mayweather, then from Pacquiao, and then from being like the king of UK and maybe the king of the world in boxing, all of a sudden people seeing you like you are nobody. It's crazy, bro. He's still like, he was still the man, but maybe he took it that way.
Yeah, well, to go from undefeated, that's before the Mayweather fight. That's what the fight was billed as. To then he got rid of his trainer after the Mayweather fight. I think he had a couple of fights before the Pacquiao one.
I will share a secret. Can I say that?
Go on.
Our next guest in the next podcast, they flew him from LA to UK to be a sparring partner for Ricky Hatton.
No way.
I think for the Mayweather fight, no, for the Pacquiao fight. I am
Really?
90%. That's a fact. For sure, they flew him. He was a sparring partner. I am not sure if that was for Pacquiao or for Mayweather or maybe for another fighter. But I'm very
right.
positive for Pacquiao.
We'll find out next week. We'll find
out. Yeah.
Well, look, let's moving on slightly though, because we do need to talk about some fights coming up and what.
Yes,
have
let's
you.
go. Let's go.
There were no real fights of magnitude this last weekend. I know you want to say something about Ryan Garcia before we move on. I know that's been talked about a lot.
We were saying about the way that he reacted in the whole
build up. I mean,
the whole build up, right? That was very strange. I know that he came out and he said that he was pretending to be that way and he was faking. Maybe in a certain level, but I don't know. I didn't really enjoy that build-up. I didn't find any hype behind of that. I mean, they said that they made some good money, right? But I just like real, pure, two fighters. Maybe they, build the fight together. That was like a very weird way to build the fight.
He was appealing to his Instagram millions of followers. That's the way boxing promoting is going now.
Yeah, but he had millions of followers anyways, and he can bring even more million of followers because he's who he is. And you know what, some people maybe enjoy it. I just didn't enjoy the way that he built the fight, and I don't know, that was a very strange way, but I would say this, that he looked incredible with the fight with Haney, and all the credits to him.
I was surprised by that. Devin Haney, I thought, was going to be potential pound for pound. I mean, he was unbeaten at the time. But like he said himself, he just went to sleep on with the left hook from Garcia. Whether they do a rematch, I don't know, or whether Garcia goes on to fight Tank or Shakur or...
Well, I heard something else on the table, like he with Teofimo. I mean, everybody wants to fight him now, right? Of course. Let's see. It's going to be interesting. But the rematch with Tank, I don't know, that's going to be crazy.
I don't know if
crazy. Well, he looked big now with, it was two different people, right? Like the way that he looked physically with Tank and the way that he looked with Haney, like two different people. I think
Tank moves on. I think Garcia, there's money in a rematch with Haney again. But, I think Shakur is out there as well. But we'll see. And we'll see if he does it again, like the same kind of tactic. But
I'm just so happy that we see all of these big fights happen, because the last few years boxing was sleeping, and now all of a sudden everybody's fighting each other and all of these things happen, and you are like, let's go, bro. That's the whole point, people fighting each other.
Well, talking of big fights coming up, one's just been announced this last week. Crawford versus Madrimov. Mm-hmm. And for the first time, it's being backed by Saudi Arabia money. It's Riyadh season, but it's not in Saudi Arabia. It's right here in LA. I think it's the 1st of August, which is the first time we are now seeing that Saudi money being dispersed around the world instead of fighters going over to Saudi Arabia. What do you think about that?
I think it's great because did you see the card? The whole card is crazy. Victor Ortiz is fighting with Team Zoo, and there's so many. I can tell you. I have it right here in front of me. Yes.
Isaac Cruz.
Cruz is fighting there.
Valenzuela.
Who is fighting? Remind me. He's fighting with...
Isaac Cruz is Jose Valenzuela.
Venezuela, yeah.
We've got Andy Ruiz making a comeback against...
He's in the same card?
Same card against Jarrell Miller.
Oh my God. Where was he? I haven't seen Ruiz.
He's just been spending his money.
He's been rich. Good for him, man. He fucking deserves it.
Look, I want to see him again. I want to see if he's the real deal.
Man. He deserves it.
Yeah, he's looking good. I saw him at the press conference. He's looking slim.
Nice.
Jarrell Miller is a big boy. I mean, his nickname is Big Baby.
He's fighting with Miller?
Yep.
Okay.
And we have the son of a legend. Is it Costa Zoo? His son, Tim Zoo, is fighting Virgil Ortiz. and then
I'm going in this card, and I will really try to have fighters fighting with the brand. With
We're gonna
TK.
go. We're gonna go. We're gonna get
we need to go there. And
accreditation.
I will make sure that we have fighters fighting that night with TK.
All right, can you sort us out tickets then? Okay, good.
Please. Yes.
All right, that's another reason to do this podcast. And there's this like Cuban sensation, Andy Cruz. I don't know if you heard of him, but
Andy Cruz.
he is he beats. So you know Keyshawn Davis.
Yes.
Yeah, so Andy Cruz beat Keyshawn Davis a couple of times in the amateurs. I think even in the Olympics.
Wow.
But Keyshawn Davis actually went pro,
Well.
but now Andy Cruz has gone pro.
Wow,
Apparently
that's good. But there is a different game. Amateur with professional.
Yeah.
There is a different game.
Yeah, well, we'll see him 1st of August. But the big fight is this weekend, Cinco de Mayo. It's actually on the 4th of May, though. Canelo Alvarez takes on Jaime Munguia for the super
Okay,
middleweight.
you got it right.
Did I get it right? Jaime
Were you stressed out the whole day because of the day? You got it right, bro.
I've been practicing that.
You can say the fighter of De La Hoya.
It's what, yeah, it's Alvarez v De La Hoya now.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Did you see the press conference today?
I just think that genuinely they don't like each other. Let's say this. I think that Canelo doesn't like him for sure, and De La Hoya, he would be okay either way because he's a very good businessman.
So De La Hoya basically has said that I think he made Canelo Alvarez who he was under his name, which is Golden Boy Promotions. So he basically stood up in front of the press conference. And
who started though, Canelo or De La Hoya?
No, De La Hoya just basically talked shit.
De La Hoya started.
He stood up because he's representing Munguia. So he stood up and basically, fucking excuse my French, talk shit about Canelo right in front of him. And then Canelo,
so he started and then Canelo continued.
Yeah.
I thought that Canelo started. No.
No. He started talking about it.
He's smart, man. Smart in a way. He knows how to build the
Look,
hype.
selling the fights again.
He knows how to build the fight. You know what I mean? And he's like, because what? He has Munguia, great fighter, but he's not talking too much. And he's like, somehow we have to bring the hype up, and they know that.
Yeah, you're right. That's the thing because
they've been too nice with each other, right?
They're two very respectful Mexican fighters, and I like this. That's what I like about Mexican fighters.
I like it, but there should be a little bit spicy there, And De La Hoya is pretty good in in building fights.
Precisely. Munguia trains out of the Wildcard Gym here in LA under Freddie Roach.
Is Freddie Roach his main coach though, or he has another coach from Mexico and Freddie Roach is helping them?
I don't know, but let's just say Freddie Roach is his main coach.
Okay.
We'll just
That's all you
that.
need.
That's it.
It's not like you have Freddie Roach.
I have a Freddie Roach story for you.
Tell me.
I
have a Freddie Roach story too.
I think so. First of all, if anyone knows the Wildcard Gym, and it's renowned for anyone being able to go in there and train effectively for free. You donate $5 or something,
yes,
and you can go in. It's really welcoming.
Yes.
About 10, 12 years ago, I was here in LA. I was actually buying a Halloween costume at the boxing store across the road from the Wildcard.
Yes.
You know the one?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. But I went in there to buy.
Is it Rose? Is Rose? What is it?
No, the main boxing shop where all the gloves are.
Oh, the boxing shop. Okay.
Not Pro Last or something.
You're talking about the boxing shop right up. It's the Pro Last.
Yeah, Pro Last. Yeah. All right, we got there in the end.
We should advertise more other boxing brands. Talk about rival. That's great.
All right,
Pro boxing.
Last.
Where it is.
Now I'm good. Buy Pro Last, everyone. But I went in there and
cut that.
I was actually. My Halloween costume was going to be Mark Wahlberg from The Fighter, right? So I went in there to buy some shorts, and the guy serving me was like, "Oh, where are you from?" I was like, "I'm from England," and he's like, "Oh, Amir Khan is across the road at the Wildcard, now training."
Oh, wow.
It was when Freddie Roach trained Pacquiao and Amir Khan.
How many years ago?
10, 12 years ago.
Dude, you had all the legends,
mate. So he was like, "Yeah, you can just pop across." So I went across to the Wildcard, and as I went over, all the media were coming out. They were kicking everyone out of the gym. Khan was training for the Lamont Peterson fight, the one where there was big controversy because there was a guy meddling with the judges. But anyway, he was training, so they kicked everyone out, and I went up, and they have a security guard basically for the gym.
Yes.
And he was like, "No, sorry, it's a closed workout, whatever they call it." And I basically kind of lied and just went, I've come all the way from England, like to see Amir Khan.
Yes.
And he's like, "Oh no, sorry." So I started walking down the steps, and then he was like, "Hey, hold on." So I stopped, and he was like, "Come back up here." So he brought me up the stairs, brought me into the gym, kicked everyone else out, and allowed me to sit there and watch Amir Khan train as well as Pacquiao privately.
Pacquiao was there too?
Pacquiao was there too. He was finishing his workout.
That's crazy.
And Freddie Roach came up to me, said hello, shook my hand.
Wow.
They said, just you can sit there in the corner and you can watch, just no phones, no nothing. So I sat there for an hour watching Amir Khan train. And then Pacquiao with his entourage.
But wait, the guy in the door, he let you go in, or Freddie Roach? He saw
Freddie
you.
Roach, the security guard went, said
to
Freddie.
You were a little bit disappointed, and he's so nice, man. He's so nice.
I feel bad that I lied, but
it doesn't matter. What
no, he was like, "So where you from in England?"
Nice.
And Amir Khan came over after the workout, signed a T-shirt for me.
Nice.
So Freddie Roach is just such a legend of the game, and I really hope, he's trained so many world champions, but this is his next big champion potentially in Munguia. What do you think of that?
What do I think about the fight about Munguia? That's a very, very interesting fight, which I still give it to Canelo. I feel that the fight, I would say, is 60-40. And if you want to break down the fight, I do believe that Canelo is going to win. I feel like he's a more experienced fighter. I think he's more powerful than Munguia, and I think Munguia cannot hurt him because we never seen Canelo get dropped by nobody, right? He got punched from bigger punchers like Golovkin, and he can take big punches. So I don't see Munguia knock him out. But what I notice that Canelo in his last performances, besides of Charlo, let's say, it was a different story, but he's getting too much tired by the last rounds. Let's say after the 8th round, he started getting tired. So I feel like if Munguia survives in those rounds and he can take Canelo's punches in the early rounds and he starts pushing the pressure as a young guy, that's where I think that Munguia can win in decision. But besides of that, I don't. And also Munguia is getting punched a lot. But have you ever got dropped? I don't remember.
I don't think so. But a lot of people are going off the fight that they've both had, the same fight against
did
John
you say
Ryder,
that
right?
you see Munguia, right? Because you had a dream or some shit like that. You said you saw a dream, but you didn't break. You didn't analyze. You just said that I have a dream.
I have a feeling Munguia is going to be the next big thing because he's 27.
He's a big thing already. Like if you lose from Canelo, you lost from Canelo. It's not like you lost from nobody. You know what I mean? You still like your stocks are super high.
He's been around for a long time. He's had a lot of fights, but no one has really spoke about him much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. His last fight against John Ryder, mm-hmm. who he knocked out mm-hmm. or stopped. Canelo, obviously, I'm not even going to say this cliche, but different matchups make different outcomes. But Canelo couldn't stop Ryder, and I don't know. Maybe it's just that time where Canelo is slightly going to be on the downhill, and Munguia at 27 is a big puncher, is gonna surprise everyone. I mean, Canelo's lost that aura after the Bivol fight.
What? I don't think that is a surprise at this point because again, Canelo has been fighting since 15 years old, bro, in the pro. He has been fighting everybody all of these years, and it's very normal to start having a down.
So is that going to happen now?
I don't think so, but
he lost to Bivol.
He lost to Bivol. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to be super surprised if he loses. It's not like, but I still think he will not lose in this fight because, you know why? Because there's another fight that we're waiting for, and we can't miss that. If he loses fight, he will never fight. I don't think he will ever fight Benavidez. You know what I mean? So
you're going with your heart because you want the
I'm not going with my heart.
Benavidez.
I made my points from the beginning. Don't put words in my mouth. I made my points from the beginning. I feel he's more experienced. He's stronger. He can take punches, and I think he will hurt Munguia. I don't know if he will knock him out, but I think he will. Honestly, maybe De La Hoya made it a little bit worse now, so maybe he will knock him out just to make a point. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's probably an example of why you're the expert and why I'm not.
Well,
I have a feeling
that's not true. To break down a fight doesn't mean that it's happening, because for example Garcia Haney, I was giving zero chance to, not zero, I wouldn't say zero, you never know, but I was giving 10% to maybe even 5% to Ryan to win the fight. So there is no really experts. You never really know. You know what I mean? You never really know. And now it's not like it's a huge difference for Canelo. Yes, for the points that I made, I feel like he will win the fight, but I will not be surprised if Munguia wins the fight. But what I can guarantee and I can see is that it's going to be a war, because none of these guys, they have defensive style. They will play a Mexican style. They will go forward and they will try to, to entertain and make it a war.
Right. Okay, so official prediction is Canelo,
and hopefully in September we'll see the. Honestly, I remember a couple of months ago, somebody told me, Tolis, I know, but that Canelo Benavidez is scheduled for September. I was like, whatever, man. Might be, bro.
That's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game, making fights ahead of time. All right, well, I'm going to have to stick with my prediction of Munguia. I don't know how, but I think he's going to win. But then again, I never get my predictions right. So, all right, well, I guess we'll find out who was right in the next podcast. As you mentioned, we have a.
By the way, I don't know if I told you, but I'm hosting the fight home. I will not be able to go in Vegas this time, so you can come.
You're hosting a fight party at home.
Yeah, so I invite you now. Don't tell me you never invite me. I invite you in public.
I've got the official.
There will be
invite.
more people there, just so you know it's not going to be private.
All right. I'm in.
So,
finally cracked the nod. Thank you. Okay, well, next week we have the review of the fight. We will preview some upcoming fights. The big one, Usyk versus Fury for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, finally taking place. I think that's 18th of May or something. But we're also going to have our guest who you mentioned. So a lot to look forward to, I think.
That was actually great. I really enjoyed it.
Did you enjoy that?
I really enjoyed. I think I was very good.
Okay, good. So we get to do it again.
You were good too. I think we did good.
We'll see if we have any listeners though, and see what their comments are.
Well, I will put my family in Greece. We'll put our
friends.
Let's
just turn the comments off.
10 comments.
Turn the comments off. All right, and we'll just carry on doing it.
We need the comments, because we have to see the comments and get better. Right. The problem is that if they start yelling in the comments, I'm not good in responding kindly.
Yeah, you just like violence. You've already said it. You like violence. All right. Well, we're going to end it there. But do you want to do one little merchandise plug?
I want to close with that we're not doing the podcast to sell merch. We're doing the podcast because we love boxing. We do that anyways. We talk about boxing, and of course I am the owner and the founder of TK Boxing, so we kind of have to promote that, but our purpose is to share our love about boxing, and whatever we talk in the gym and everywhere else, we just have a mic in front of us and we do the same thing.
Perfect. I think that
was a good closing, huh?
That's the perfect way to close it. All right. Well, Tolis, thank you very much.
Peace.
Thank you all for listening or watching. Hope to see you again.
Yes, sir.